We officially have the code name for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, but what does that mean? We're gonna take a look at that and some new rumors for the brand new Generation 9 of Pokemon games. Let's dive in. Yo, whoa, what is going on YouTube? It's your boy Dan, aka A-Drive. I'm bringing you guys a brand new video today. Today we are talking Gen 9, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I'm very excited for these games, and even though they're quite a few months away, it's very possible we're gonna get some information kind of slipping through the cracks sooner than later. So in this video, we're going to talk about the code name, which was seemingly discovered for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, what that means, what it could mean. And then at the end of the video, we're going to actually talk about some of the most recent rumors that are kind of spreading around the community, including some potential leaked Dex pages and much, much more. So we'll talk about all that different stuff. Hit that like button down below if you guys enjoy these types of videos, and subscribe to the channel if you guys are new so you don't miss out on our epic Pokemon Scarlet and Violet content and much, much more. And if you haven't done so yet, head over to TeamShiny.com and pick up some sweet merch. Check out this sweet Bulbasaur shirt, dude. It's awesome. Even my doctor that I saw today was like, oh, that's a Bulbasaur. It looks amazing. You guys go to TeamShiny.com and pick up any of these sweet designs. And if you use code Arceus today, you get 15% off. You pick up 3 t-shirts or more. We got hoodies, we got Shiny Charm plushies, and much more. So don't miss out. But let's dive into the news and updates of everything going on for Scarlet and Violet. Okay, so first thing we've got here is Soul Silver on Twitter actually posting this kind of PokeLeaks thread. I found this very interesting. A couple different screenshots, one to Legends Arceus and one to BDSP, both potentially hinting at Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, right? I think this is really cool. You've got this t-shirt, which seems to be kind of like an Alola-inspired t-shirt with the luxury ball on it, and it just so happens there's a Scarlet and Violet flower on the t-shirt. Coincidence? Probably not, right? And then we look at this other image here, and this is a little flower garden in BDSP with, of course, Scarlet and Violet flowers. I really feel like this is intentional, you know? I feel like Pokemon loves to do that. We saw it earlier where they kind of teased the oranges and the grapes on the inside of the walls, going back to, I believe, Sword and Shield. So it's very clear that they obviously work on these games many years in advance and many years in development, and they like to kind of embed these little secrets, and it's not until after the fact that we kind of find them. So I found that this was quite interesting, and I wanted to mention it. Another thing we've got here is Super Effective on Twitter pointing this out, and I'm probably gonna make a video talking about this in its entirety. Still kind of doing some more research and really kind of coming to some more conclusions about it. But this logo from the Japanese logo, which may have some indication as to what the kind of special mechanic is, much like Mega Evolution Z moves, that kind of stuff, does look similar to the ultimate weapon. So we'll break that down. I think there's a lot to kind of uncover about what this little icon could mean and what it could mean for the gameplay. There's been some rumors and kind of discussions about it, but again, we're gonna hold off on that for another video. But if you have any thoughts about it, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below what you think this mechanic could be or what it ultimately means. There's a lot of kind of thoughts and theories around the light spectrum and kind of Scarlet and Violet types of light and how it's reflected in a prism, and there's a lot of kind of thoughts about that, but how does that tie into a game mechanic? We'll have to wait and see. And here's the big stuff right here. So it turns out, and I was misinterpreting this in a previous video, Titan seems to be the code name for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. And for those who don't know, Pokemon always has a code name for their games. For some of the recent games, we've got codename Beluga for Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, codename Delphus for Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, and codename Hayabusa for Legends Arceus. So we do have these code names. How do they tie into the actuality of the game itself? Doesn't seem to be any sort of, you know, huge connection. Like Hayabusa is like a peregrine falcon, but it's also the name of like a motorbike that goes really fast, I guess. So like, how does that tie into Legends Arceus? I don't know, maybe the Braviary aspect, the fact that you can fly around on it. Beluga, how does a beluga whale, you know, tie into Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee? I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't seem like these code names really have a ton of significance when all is said and done, but maybe we're just missing something here. But either way, Titan is a pretty significant word, right? When I think of Titans in Pokemon, you think of Regigigas, you think of Reggie, you know, Eliki and Regice and Regirock and these different Reggies. Could there be a new Titan form? I think it's worth speculating, but again, I wouldn't get too carried away about kind of the idea behind the code name. But I do think this is interesting, and Soul Silver has actually mentioned this as well, not only discussing the Titan is the code name, which it seems like a couple sources have kind of found. ABC Boy here also finding that it was in the kind of source code, and then it ultimately was changed. So it's very possible that, you know, this is ultimately just what the code name is. But Riddler Koo did mention in his most recent tweet Titan soon, and you know, Soul Silver mentions, and Soul Silver does a lot of research on Koo and kind of this whole leak season. when he says soon, it means soon. So I wasn't expecting anything until, you know, probably June, but maybe, just maybe, we'll get something a little sooner than that from the Riddler himself. So we'll have to keep our eyes open and fingers crossed on getting some really cool information. And now I'm gonna shift gears to kind of the most recent rumors that are floating around. I saw this getting a lot of traction on Reddit. I'm gonna go out and say that I do think that they're fake. I think at this stage of the game, it's just too early for something like this to come out and be legit. But at the end of the day, it's not as if this hasn't happened before. So we're gonna look at them anyway, kind of have some fun talking about them. But again, I'm gonna slap the fake tag on them at this stage, but you know, feel free to prove me wrong when the time comes. But so this talks about the different Pokemon. It talks about Sprigatito, Floragata, and Herbalina being a grass and fairy type. Then it goes on to Fuecoco, Cocolore, and Scovadrillo becoming grass and fire type, which has been something that's been speculated, like fan-wise, that maybe it turns into a ghost pepper or some sort of a pepper that's fire and grass type, but they've never done that. They've never given a starter a second typing of the rest of the trio. And then Quaxly, Pequato, and Armaduck with flying types. I actually feel like some of these ideas are good. So I don't want to see Quaxly become a flying type. Hopefully it's not that, because water flying is kind of, you know. Then you've got Lectail and Julimer. I gotta say, like, these names are good. We're gonna get to some good ones, which are the normal type, you know, presumably the Rattatas of the region. And then you've got I'm sorry, that was like an electric type, so maybe like a new Pikachu. Then you've got Pedicoot and Grandicoot, like a Bandicoot type of thing. Then you got some bug types, and I think this is really cool. Nymphasize, Minipede, and Grubstep. Please give me a Pokemon called Grubstep that is bug and electric. Like, give me a bug type Pokemon named Grubstep. I'm all over that. Then there's another bug type called Ampact, Funk Roller, and Rockroach as a rock and bug type, Rockroach. Like I said, I mean, I feel like some of these names, at least the person put some time into it if it is fake. Peekall and Omiglow or Orniglow, my eyes aren't very good. Normal and flying type, and then a psychic line that looks like it changes. It goes from Plummetus, psychic flying, to Spartian and Impaleon. Maybe these are different Pokemon, actually. Maybe it's not a 3-stage line, but rather it's a individual psychic flying, and then to an evolution line, Spartian and Impaleon, psychic and flying. Then you've got the dolphin Pokemon, Orcaria, water fairy, and Dulforce, water fairy. Then a new water type, Salby, Salmite, and Salmonster. And then a new grass type, Shrewbarge, which is grass and water. And then another bug, Sinsect and Dazzlefly, fire and bug. A lot of bugs, man. Listen, if this was real, I would be over the moon. I would actually be losing my mind over this. Seems unlikely. I'm just gonna say it. Seems unlikely. I feel like I want to believe. I really do. I want nothing more than Minipede and Grubstep. Let me tell you. And give me Sinsect and Dazzlefly. I'll take another redemption arc for our fire and bug types. But yeah, I have a hard time feeling like this kind of a list would come out this early and be legit. But props to the person who made it, because I really think the names are pretty solid. At least they put some time into it. But I'm gonna write this one off as fake. We've got another one that people have been discussing, getting, again, a lot of traction on Reddit. Another one of these kind of like text-based theorized posts on 4chan. It says schools in Scarlet are based on oranges, schools in Violet are based on grapes, schools enforce side quests to graduate, there's gyms, Elite Four, and a champion still in the games. The trainer's rival is from the opposing school. There's a lot of theories on a side note beside this that are tying in this idea that you're like in a school. If you're in the other game, you're in a different school, and it's like competing schools. Maybe you're going around the region and battling the best student in each school as the gym leader, or maybe the teacher's the gym leader, who knows, right? Region based on the Gaudi, which is a Basilica Architect. Antagonist team loosely based on the Black Legend of Hispania. They stole goods and treasures from Spanish ships and opposed the religion in Spain. Very philosophical. It goes on to say there's a dark type mon based on El Coco, which carries a black bag and has a long black hair covering most of its body, a Fire Phoenix pseudo legend in Scarlet, and a Poison Dragon pseudo in Violet. Very interesting that it says that there's different pseudos based in the game. We've never really had that before. Bronzor variant, Ghost and Grass. There's a new Siren Pokemon that's Ghost and Fairy, a new Ghost Witch Pokemon, and a Grass Baby Troll that evolves into a Giant Troll, Grass Normal. I like the ideas. Three-legged dog, Dark Psychic Dog, Normal Dragon with a big mouth. Drampa? Ice and Fairy Cyclops is the legendary trio. New battle mechanics is a glass crystal. It gives mons resistance to certain weakness types like crystal onyx. So like I said, I see this. It's got 131 comments on Reddit, 401 upvotes, right? Like it's not as if this is just like a buried thread. There's a lot of conversation going on about this, and that's kind of why I cover these things, for the conversation aspect. I don't think this is real at this point in time, but it's still fun to look at, and there's always the chance that something slipped through the cracks. So let me know your thoughts on this. I like the Pokedex leak though. I like these because it's so fun to think about and then ultimately get disappointed when I don't get Grubstep. So that's that for your news and information regarding Pokemon Gen 9, the codename Titan for Scarlet and Violet, and hopefully the Riddler has something brewing very, very soon. Feel free to check out my t-shirt shop at teamshine.com. Pick up some sweet designs. Seriously, this Bulbasaur shirt's amazing, and you would look even better than I look in it, for sure, because I'm just an old man who probably should exercise a little bit more. Like the video if you guys enjoyed, and subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Thank you so much for watching this one. I actually exercise every single day, believe it or not. You probably don't believe it, but it's true. I do. I exercise every single day. Thanks for watching, guys. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.